Welcome back to the Reasonably Debatable Podcast, the best father-son podcast on the internet. What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody, sorry for the long break.
We had a Christmas video. Yeah, I'm cheersing with some water today. Dasani. We had a Christmas video planned. By the way, I hope everyone had a good Christmas. But we were both just so busy and holidays and stuff, couldn't get that out. And then around New Year's, we were going to do a video kind of to wrap up the year and stuff. But you were ready to record and I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the year, the beginning of this year, I start feeling good and I was ready. And then you got sick.
Yep. Yeah. Good times.
There's been
the holidays were pretty good. I mean, after the holidays, we got, death's door sick, but we're all right.
Yeah. And I don't know how it is for you people on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, I know we're getting a little bit of everything right now. You got the flu, you got COVID, you got the new strain of COVID, you got the common cold, you got sinuses right now, people getting bronchitis. I mean, it's a mix of everything.
We live in Chemical Valley. Like if you don't get a sinus infection here, you're made out of steel or something.
Yeah, well, I seen the SpiderMan meme where they're pointing at each other.
I don't think so.
Oh well.
Oh yeah, the old cartoon one.
Yeah, you're the imposter.
You're the imposter. Okay.
There was one, and it was COVID pointing, and there was another Spider-Man. It was like flu, and it said common cold, and there was like all the sicknesses, and it was like when you have the symptoms that can fit everything right now.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we were both out sick a little bit, but we're back, and hopefully we'll be on the ball, and appreciate the ones of you guys that's kind of stayed along and kept watching and been waiting for our next videos.
Yeah, I'm trying not to vape in the mic. Learned that on the first podcast.
Same. Which I actually got a mic this time, so we're
yeah, you sound a lot better.
But so I figured for today, since it's we kind of missed our last couple videos end of the year, beginning of the year, I thought it would be kind of cool to talk about some of the stuff that happened in 2021 that was kind of a big deal, and kind of also some of the stuff we're excited for this year.
All right.
So here on Reasonably Debatable, we talk about movies, video games, shows, music, sports. So that's kind of
way for two guys to beat up a girl in a horror movie.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're going to be centered around this episode. So I'm going to screen share with us. It's going to be a little bit different too. We're not going to be doing
we're not doing a tier for this?
No, this one's not going to be a tier. All right. So one of the first things I want to talk about was some of the people we lost in 2021. First up, Betty White, a legend.
Hysterical. Super funny lady.
I remember growing up watching, Golden Girls.
Yeah.
So, and it was kind of like a meme, and at least my age group, that she was indestructible,
Yeah.
And for
99, I mean, she had a good run.
A week, what was it? A day or two before the ball dropped. So
yeah, and I think
right before
her birthday was right after that or something.
Yeah. So an absolute legend. Another person, John Madden.
I know. I like right when John Madden died last week, or like his the All Madden special hit like every streaming app that I have. And we were just talking about it. Remember on the podcast when, Don Madden died?
Yeah.
And we were telling everybody what happened to Don. And I was telling people not to get confused that John Madden, the football guy, didn't die. And then right after that, boom.
Yeah. And for
no pun intended for football fans.
For some of you younger audience, and I say younger like I'm not younger, but some of the people that's my age are younger than me. John Madden actually played football, professional ball. I don't know what team he played. I think it was it the Raiders that he played for?
He coached. I don't know. That was way before my time, but he was an amazing coach for the Raiders.
Yeah. So he started off playing football, and then he became a coach.
It was a really good coach too, like a super successful coach. Like he had a great run.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with the Raiders, he still holds the records for the most consecutive wins back to back. And of course, after that, he became a commentator. But what my generation knows him for is the games, Madden. You know, if you play football on any system, you play Madden.
What? Yeah.
Well, what was the first Madden? I don't even remember. Like what year?
First time I played Madden was on the Sega Genesis.
Call back to our last episode if you haven't seen it. Link in the description.
Yeah, John Madden Football was on the Sega Genesis. It was awesome.
Yeah, so
I think it was one of the games that had like the yellow clip that were like taller than all the other cartridges.
yeah.
But
I mean,
it was cool. It was really cool. The best game before then out was Super Tecmo Bowl on the original Nintendo.
yeah. Well, and I know like the early Madden games, every game had him on the cover. And then after that, they started putting the players.
Yeah.
But
yeah, wrestling. I remember watching CBS. I think it was NBC. No, CBS. I think CBS Sports. Yeah, I think it was CBS Sports. Watching football like on Sundays, Monday Night Football, whichever one had. You know how they switch it back and forth between Fox and ESPN and
right.
But John Madden was he was always on the TV.
Yeah.
He was always on there explaining like why guys were running different routes and why this defender's doing this and all the safeties are coming forward because they're blah blah blah. And he was always explaining stuff. So yeah, both Maddens. Rest in peace to John and Don.
Yeah, absolute legends. And I felt before we could get into all the good stuff that happened in 2021, would at least pay the respect to the people who who passed away this year. So next, I'm going to move us real quick. The next thing we're going to get into is the movies that came out this year that were pretty big deals. Some good, some bad. So up first, we have the new Matrix, which I still have not watched yet. But I know you have. So I'll let you start.
I almost stayed up. I was so excited for this. I was gonna stay up on midnight that night, but then I didn't. You know what I mean? I went ahead and just got up the next day and watched it. But it was great. If you haven't seen it, and everybody else out there,
I think it's still too new before you can start spitting spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but at first when I'm watching it,
yeah,
I'm like, oh no, they've ruined it. This is gonna be terrible. Oh no, it's trash. Oh no. Like the first 10 minutes, I was like, no. And then I was like, after that, you're like, oh, this is great. This is just as good as any of the first three.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Well, and the crazy thing about the Matrix, at least the first one, I know it was like groundbreaking, not just because of the CGI, because I know that was crazy at the time, but like just the concept of the movie. Everyone knows the Matrix, whether you've seen the Matrix or not, about the Matrix. And Keanu Reeves is a great actor, and I never thought they'd come back. So it's kind of cool that they made another one. I definitely got to watch it soon. I'll probably watch it this week. And
yeah, Keanu Reeves is one of those dudes that's like famous, but also a really good person.
Yeah,
he's does a lot for people who need help. Like he's a really good dude.
Yeah, and you better not mess with his dog. So, all right. So the next another big movie that came out last year, which I actually just watched this week, is Godzilla versus Kong. Did you see this?
I loved it. Yeah, of course I did.
So
I love Skull Island. I love King of All Monsters. I love Godzilla versus Kong. I watched the old black and white ones. I watched the ones that came out. Every time they redo it, I like it just as much.
Yeah. Well,
yep. Everyone.
I'm gonna get some haterade from people in the comments, but I remember because I was born in the 90s, so I was an early 2000s kid. So obviously I remember the King Kong movie with Jack Black.
Yeah.
And I remember
like
I remember the Godzilla movie, which was not the best, but it was the early 2000s where he looked like a raptor.
Oh, the one with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Not the best one, but it was that too.
Yeah,
like that one too.
So out of this new series, when the trailer for this came out, everyone's like, there's like 2 Godzilla movies and a King Kong movie you got to watch before you can watch this. So I was like,
Yeah, you got to watch King of All Monsters. That was so
so
good.
so I watched Kong Skull Island, but I actually didn't see the 2 Godzilla movies before I watched this.
Well, you missed out. You missed out. They're really good.
It was a good movie, and I thought it was pretty cool. It was, and maybe because I didn't watch all the old ones like back in the
Yeah.
day, I didn't really understand the whole like center of the earth thing, but I thought the movie was awesome.
You know, if I want to watch like a really well done film, I watch something that like Wes Anderson directed, or some Francis Ford Coppola movie, or some Kubrick movie, or some great director.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to see shit blowing up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
A giant monster fighting another giant monster. I am so in. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I just want to see some shit break and blow up.
Well, and I thought in this I'll bring up, and I always bring up like stuff that I remember from my childhood that's relevant to this. But when we were younger, it was either for the original Xbox or the GameCube. You got me and Nick Godzilla versus all the monsters or whatever it was called. And you could play as Godzilla, you could play as like Mecha Godzilla, you could play as what's King Ghidorah, you could play
Mothra.
as Mothra. Yep, they had all of them, and I think it's out for Xbox and GameCube. I know that. I just don't remember which one
I don't
you got.
remember that game.
Yeah, you might have got it for me and Nick for GameCube, but it was awesome. And of course, as soon as I watched this movie, I was like, man, I want to play that game, because it's always fun just seeing giant monsters tear stuff up.
Yeah, people get too ridiculous with like the it's I don't know. Only watching like one type of movie is like only listening to one kind of music. I can't do that. That's ridiculous. Right. I mean, I like Wes Anderson. I'll preach him all day. Like a lot of his movies, I think, are on just the best done ever. But sometimes you just want to see shit blow up.
Yeah, well, and there's times to have like like I watched this horror movie recently. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Malignant.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's I haven't watched that yet.
Okay, so Malignant, it's good, but it got great reviews. Like it's rated like 8 out of 10 on IMDb. It got great ratings. But the thing is it's kind of cheesy. But the director, he said that was the point. He said he was trying to reenact that like 80s campy horror movie, like the teenagers hanging out, and just sometimes you just want to watch some guys slash up some people,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
I mean, the 4th season of Cobra Kai just came out.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough. Love that show. Love it, love it, love it, love that show. It's super corny, super cheesy, and awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with just like not everything has to be ultra serious all the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what's next on our list. Next, we have another big movie that came out last year, Mortal Kombat. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. I loved it. Loved it. It was different. The other one's kind of like Liu Kang's the main character, but not at all in this one.
Yeah, that was weird that Liu Kang was not the character, but my favorite my favorite character in Mortal Kombat is Raiden as far as the games go. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of a, like the main guy in this. Well, kind of. I mean, it was Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Yeah. But I thought it was sweet. It's definitely better than the 90s one, in my opinion. I mean, you grew up with that, but
no, it's way better than the 90s one. Yeah. But again, the 90s Mortal Kombat movie falls under the same thing as like Godzilla.
Right.
Like,
it's just
if it's a martial arts movie or any sort of action movie,
yeah,
I can let some acting slide. You know what I mean? It's
right. But yeah, it was awesome. Especially the stuff with Sub-Zero. I felt like Sub-Zero killed this movie. And I'm glad that they use like actual, I don't know if they're Korean or Japanese or Chinese.
Well, depends.
Some kind of Asian. Yeah. But they're actually like, they didn't use like just American white dudes and be like, oh yeah.
How they did in the 90s when they used a white dude for Raiden. I was like, can't help but notice.
Yeah, it's like
look an awful lot like a white guy.
Yeah, so I thought that was sweet, and they're going to be making a sequel. So actually, it comes out this year.
Good, good. I hope they make 10 more. I'll watch all 10 of them.
Yeah. So another great one. You know what they need to make? They need to make a really good Street Fighter movie.
Are you trying to say that the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie wasn't the greatest movie you've ever seen?
I'm pretty sure I've seen parts of that, and it was not good.
It was so bad. Like, I know I was just saying that. Like, they don't all have to be great. You know what I mean? If it's an action movie, but that one, oof, that was rough. That was like, you guys weren't even trying. Did you make this in a weekend or something? Did you have like 3 days to get the movie done?
And it's I think a lot of times it's hard to turn a video game into a good movie. Like the Dragon Ball Z movie was bad, really bad. It came out in the early 2000s. They had
Oh,
like,
the live action one.
yeah, it was really
Yeah,
bad.
that was horrible.
But sometimes they get it right. Like the new Sonic movie was great.
Yeah, super fun.
It's so, Mortal Kombat, another one for the books. All right, let's see what we got next. Spider-Man. You haven't seen this one yet, have you?
Is that the one that's in theaters
Yes, that's a
like
new one.
now? No, I haven't seen that one. It's the only one I haven't seen.
Well, just again, like the Matrix, it's a little new for me to spoil, but great. Again, growing up, my brother, who's not on this podcast, but will be on an episode, hopefully. Nick, get on here.
Yep.
He was a diehard Spider-Man fan. I was more of a Batman kind of kid, but I've really got into Spider-Man as I've got older. And when I was a kid, obviously we had the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans with Doc Ock and Green Goblin and Sandman and stuff. So as the later ones, I think they're good. I watch them, but like nothing as good as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man for me. So it was cool, which this doesn't spoil. It's in the trailer. It's in the movie poster. They bring all the villains back. And they didn't do it in a cheesy way. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, all the villains are here. Spider-Man, you have to beat them all. They did it in a smart, clever way that makes sense. So I think they did really good with it, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, go see it. And in fact, I have this sitting right here. After I watched that, I had to go pick this up for the PlayStation, and I've been playing the crap out of it. Great game. All right, let's see what else we got on this list. Space Jam. Return to Space Jam.
All right. So I know I said Street Fighter was bad. Ooh. Oh, wow. This was so bad.
A movie I was super hyped.
I can't even imagine any little kids. I can't imagine if you're a little kid in basketball camp who loves Bugs Bunny cartoons. I can't imagine that kid likes it. Like, this is in the running for one of the worst movies ever made. Like, it's a 1 out of whatever scale you got.
I hate to say it. And the thing is I remember when LeBron, when he had left the Cavs and went to the Heat and he'd won the championship and he was really big. Back then they started rumors like, what if they did a sequel to Space Jam, but with LeBron? And every year since then, since I was a little kid, they said this was going to happen and never did. And when LeBron, I think he tweeted a picture of his jersey, we were like, it's here. This is it. We were so excited. I was like, I'm going to theaters. I watched the first Space Jam. I was so excited, but it came out on HBO and I watched it and I was like, wow, they ruined Space Jam. Like,
I didn't make it through it. We had to turn it off. It was oof.
Well, the ending is worse than the beginning.
No.
So,
that was, great basketball player, but shit, man.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Not a good actor. The plot was terrible. Even the Looney Tunes were not good in this. It was just all around bad.
Yeah.
But it's a big movie, so I wanted to include it. The next one, A Quiet Place 2. Did you watch this?
I watched the first A Quiet Place and really liked it.
Which was
did
great.
not see the second one.
Yeah. So I think I said this when we talked about our horror videos, but this is directed by John Krasinski. I think I'd say it Krasinski. He's the guy that was in The Office, and he's also in some other comedy movies and shows. But it's weird that like Jordan Peele from Key and Peele, like he's a horror director now, and then John Krasinski, the comedian's a horror director now, and you would think like that doesn't translate well, but all of their films are really good. So For me, A Quiet Place was great. I love the premise of it. I thought, because at the time you had like Bird Box, it was like monsters that you can't see, monsters you can't hear, monsters you can't talk to, and it was kind of oversaturated.
I think A Quiet Place was first, though, wasn't it?
A Quiet Place was first, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the market just kind of oversaturated with it. But to be honest, I watched A Quiet Place 2, and it's better than the first one,
Yeah, I have to check it out.
which is rare. I mean, how many times is a sequel better than the original when it comes to movies, besides The Godfather?
Well, I mean, that's not really fair. I mean, Godfather 1 and 2 are really one movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one movie.
But I mean, most of the time, I mean, I guess for instance like that, like not Spider-Man, Harry Potter, Deathly Hollows, they split up. So I guess the second one is better than the
Yeah.
first one. But for the most part, sequels are not as good as the first one. But this one I thought was better than the first one.
Up here, chain vaping.
Yeah. So in my opinion, this is probably the best horror movie of last year.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't really debate that.
All right. So that's it for the movies. Next, I'm gonna
hold on a second before you stop with the movies. Since we're on horror, if you didn't watch, like, I think Mandy came out actually year before last.
Yeah.
But Color of Space came out last year. Same people.
That's
same director,
Nicolas Cage
on Shudder. I don't know. Everybody's like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage." They're really good if you like horror movies. If you like horror movies, if you like I don't get paid. We don't have a sponsorship or anything, but if you like horror movies, you should have Shudder. Shudder's awesome.
Yeah, I have Shudder. It's definitely great. And I feel like Nicolas Cage gets hate. He's a good actor.
He was really good in Mandy, and he was really good in Color of Space.
Well, even like when I was a kid, like National Treasure, you know what I mean? Like Nicolas Cage I feel like has always been a good actor, but he kind of gets hate.
I mean, he's had some misses, they can't all be home runs.
Ghost Rider.
Oof. That's up on there with fucking Space Jam and Street Fighter.
So yeah, but yeah, I'll definitely have to check those out. All right, next we're gonna go into some big albums. There was so many. I just did like the biggest releases, not necessarily like what we think was our favorite, because that could be for another video. But these are just like the biggest things that come out this year. So yeah, Tyler's Call Me If You Get Lost. He's back. His last album was Igor, and everyone thought he was kind of done with rap because that was more of a pop album. But
it was good. It was weird, but like still good.
Yeah, no, I thought Igor was great, but this was
it was good. It was kind of, sometimes you're like, all right, man, but still good.
Yeah. And
I didn't hear this one though. I haven't listened to it.
This was awesome because it was Tyler returning to rap, and we haven't had that in a while. And the rapping Tyler we had was the shock value with like Bastard and Goblin, and when I seen him in concert. So him returning to rap, we thought like, is he going to go back to shock value? But he didn't. And in fact, he said that growing up, he always would listen to like DJ Drama, Gangster Grill mixtapes.
Yeah.
So he was like, I always wanted to have like a Wayne DJ Drama mixtape. So this album, the whole album is narrated by DJ Drama, and you got the Gangsta Grizzle, cool. And the just the super cheesy DJ Drama yelling at the beginning of every song.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I don't think it's his best album, but it's cool. He came back. He's rapping now. He got DJ Drama screaming on every song. It's just a good time.
All right.
So next we have Nas's King's Disease 2.
I can't say enough about this album. I think, in my own opinion, this is the best hip hop album to come out in years. I mean, I don't know how many. A few. Like, I can't remember the last time a hip hop album came out. It's been a long time since that I can play all the way through over and over and over and never have the urge to skip.
Yeah, well, and
you know what? While we're at it, shout out to Nas for getting Lauryn Hill to come back rapping.
Yeah, that changed the game.
I know that, like, there's a lot of like chicks out there like, oh, she should sing. She's a better singer. Shut that shit right up. We have 10,000 singing bitches in the world that can sing great. There's
Right.
been 5 females in the history of ever that could rap for shit.
Right.
She happens to be like the best one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, let her rap. She is great. And the whole album, cover to cover, from the as soon as it starts to the end, it's great.
And my thing is, if Lauryn Hill wouldn't have retired, I think she would probably be considered top 5, period.
I think she's number 1 as far as females.
Well, that's what I'm
And
saying.
then I think if she would have
If she would have kept
made a
going.
couple of albums, she'd be on that top 10 list. Just with everybody, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and the thing about I want to say about this is Nas he's up there in age. He's in his late 40s, I think. 50. He's 50, I think, actually. Yeah, I think Nas is 50.
Gotta
Anyways,
be getting close to it.
yeah, he's getting up there in age, and people forget he was a teenager when he made Illmatic. But he's over I mean, easily one of the greatest rappers of all time. Easily has in my opinion, the best rap album of all time. But as he's got older, I think some albums have slipped. Some albums I'm like,
He's had a few misses.
eh.
Jay-Z had a few misses. Eminem had a couple misses.
Yeah, and and you always wonder when a rapper who's kind of past his prime, they're getting up in age, it's like, will they ever be able to make a great album? And the first King's Disease actually won album of the year the previous year.
Is weird. It's a good album.
It was his first Grammy.
Yeah. And great. They missed out on Illmatic. They missed out on It Was Written. They missed out on Stillmatic. They missed out on God's Son.
Yeah.
They missed out on a few of them. The first Lost tapes. Oh, but man, like King's Disease 2 is
way better than the first King's Disease. Yeah,
way better. And like, it didn't even get nominated.
I think it did.
Like, forget rap album of the year, just album of the year for sure. Like
King's Disease was great. I mean, King's Disease 1, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't bad, but it was nothing like 2.
Yeah, but this album, this was like, whoa, Nas is back. And
yeah,
it was cool because on this album, he was able to give the same good storytelling and flow that he's always had, but he also kind of brought like a newer style to it. It didn't sound like we were listening to a 90s album again. It sounded like this is like new modern beats, modern production, but you're still getting the lyrical Nas that we've always known.
No, I think this is the best hip hop album that's come out in at least 4 years.
And he had another album come out this year. I did not put it on this. I did not put on this list, but it's called Magic. I thought it was great too. I just listened to it again today, actually. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he said it was just the leftovers that didn't make the cut for this. It's more like an EP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess rappers don't want to be known as having like one set flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to bring up Eminem again, but I don't know. He goes through phases. You know what I mean? You can tell when he's rapping this way for a while and this way for a while, just evolving and stuff. And then some guys go back and forth. But like every once in a while, you find a guy who's just like, he gets this groove and you're like, oh, that's how you should rap,
Yeah.
Like Jadakiss has that, Jeezy has that, Nas has that. Like, don't rap too fast. Like, he gets this thing to it's where it's like that's his frequency, and he just runs that shit.
Well, and
I think King's Disease 2, it was just perfect beat selection. The features he had were who should have been on which. Like, it was best hip hop album in a lot of years.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about it is, usually like rappers are hungry, especially with early projects. You're trying to make it up, make it big. You're trying to talk about coming up and your struggles. But then everyone always says, like, once you make it, what else do you have to talk about? And some rappers struggle with that. But I really felt like with King's Disease 2, this felt like a victory lap. It felt like Nas is like, look, I've made it. I've did all the things you need to do in hip hop. I've solidified my legacy, and this is like my victory lap. Like, here I am, and
yeah,
I did it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Do I think it's his best album?
No.
But it's great. I remember when Illmatic came out and nobody was rapping like that.
This is top 5 though. Top 5
Yeah,
Nas
but
albums.
it's up there. It's not too far behind. Like it's really good
So yeah, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. We can't say enough good
for
things
sure.
about it. All right, next, an album that I haven't had a lot of time with, but you got to include it. It's Adele.
So I still haven't listened to it.
Yeah, so I've listened to it. I listened to it once all the way through. The thing is with Adele is you get an album like once every 6-7 years. You know, it's she doesn't drop every year like rappers do. So the last album she dropped was 25 when I was in high school.
Haven't listened to that either.
Yeah, so she
I
she had
listened to 19 and 21. They were both really good. Like each one of them had like 5 songs on each CD that I really liked.
yeah.
But I
20,
haven't really listened to her since those 2 CDs.
25 was great as well. That came out, like I said, I think when I was in high school. Um, and also it didn't have any big like major hits like the 21 did.
Mhm.
But she's back with 30, and what can I say? It's great again. Adele can sing. She's great at writing stories, and it's weird because like her first two her first two albums had a lot to do with like breakup songs.
Mhm.
And that was like I said with Nas, there was kind of the joke like, what happens when Adele's not being cheated on or getting
Yeah.
broken up with? Like, can she make music? So this album's really just like about her like getting older now, and what it's like to deal with fame, and and
Yeah.
not having her friends anymore when she was that she had when she was kids and stuff. So it's a different perspective, different subject matter, but great.
That's cool. That's cool.
Came out at the very end of the year, so but had to include it. So Adele. All right, next, Drake's Certified Lover Boy. Um
Is that the album cover?
and it's god awful.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Well, that album cover is terrible. It's I thought it was a joke when it was posted. I thought there's no way that's gonna be the album cover, and that was the album
I
cover.
lost you there.
But
I lost you there for a second. You kind of
uh
sounded like you were talking through a 90s telephone modem,
uh but yeah,
like you were in the Matrix.
this was the posted album cover. And it was to be honest, Drake, he's to the point now where this album was not good. Maybe I think it was bloated. It was like 23 songs. I maybe like 2 of the songs off of it, and I'm a Drake fan.
Yeah.
So it was bloated. It just sounded like Drake just was throwing some stuff out, and yeah, it was not good.
I haven't heard it, but with Drake, it's like he was like a little teeny bopper Nickelodeon guy or whatever. So like older like hip hop fans who are like my generation like didn't really fuck with him when he came on. Like he had to earn it. And then as soon as we started fucking with him, it came out that like, oh yeah, those all your favorite 15 Drake songs, he didn't write any of them. And oh man. And yeah, I don't know. Since then I haven't really listened to him.
Excuse me. And that's the thing with Drake. I mean, he has classic albums. Take Care was amazing. Nothing Was the Same was amazing. If You're Reading This, It's Too Late was
It
amazing.
was great, fantastic. And Nothing Was the Same. Both those two back to back.
They were back to back.
Yeah, and those were, in my opinion, his best too.
Yeah, and after that, I mean, he's had some okays, but a lot of misses. And this one,
Yeah.
this one was this big hyped up album. It was supposed to be his return to form, and it was bad. It was it's I
But
mean,
you're more of a Drake fan than me. You probably know this. But wasn't If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, wasn't that like whole album written by Quentin Miller?
I mean, that's what was the rumors. Quentin came out and said himself that he only helped on like 2 songs.
Oh,
Drake, but you know, who knows?
and wasn't like on Nothing Was the Same? Didn't they say that The Weeknd and Kanye
It was
each
Take
wrote
Care.
like 4 or 5 of his songs or something?
Take Care was The Weeknd. He helped Drake, and I think he did a lot of production on the album. I think he did help co-write some songs. So, and I mean, you can definitely tell Take Care definitely took some inspiration from, like House of Balloons and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
I mean, still good music, but I don't know. That's a stretch.
yeah. Yeah, so that's yeah, not a good one. Another one that's again, I know you probably haven't listened to it, is Kanye West Donda.
No, but that's funny that you should have Kanye West up right after Drake. I was
With
just
their
flipping
beef.
around on Amazon Prime and they did a concert on there.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I had to turn it off. I was like 22 minutes into it and there was no rap yet, no music, no hip hop. Like it was, I turned it off at 22 minutes. I was like, because I started counting the time. It's like, wow, 10 minutes is nothing. And then I was like, wow, 14 minutes is nothing. Wow, wow. And then I was like, man, we're at 22 minutes. And it's just, yeah, just
Yeah.
these like old choir people singing like church songs and Kanye just walking around in like some homeless guy's fucking hoodie. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Kanye always looks like he's fresh out of the dumpster. You know what I mean?
yeah. And yeah. Well, and the thing is like for me, I'm a huge Drake fan, a huge Kanye fan. Both of them make it into my Spotify top played every year since 2016, since I got
Yeah.
Spotify. So I was excited to know they were both dropping albums this year. And to be honest, they were both duds. I did my top 10 albums of the year that I do every year, and they didn't even make it. And usually if
Yeah.
Drake or Kanye drops, easily top 3 for me. But they didn't even make it in my top 10. So, and that's coming from someone who's a fan of them. He did that Jesus is King album previously, and that was
Didn't hear that either.
it was a gospel album. It was not good. It wasn't even
Oof.
even people who listen to gospel music said it wasn't a good gospel album.
Find me one human being, one. I defy you. Find me one human being who watched the entire Kanye West episode of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, that was
You can't do it. Nobody could watch it. It was just how long could you take it? It was, I don't know how long the thing was. You can check on YouTube. I'm sure it was a couple hours, but dude is completely batshit insane.
yeah, and
And makes no sense. Joe would ask him a question and he would just pop off random words. Like they wouldn't even make sense in a sentence. And just didn't say anything. He just said a bunch of words, but didn't really say anything. I don't know. It's if I was somebody who knew Kanye, I would try to get him help. You know, like in this country, not to get too dark, but we always hear like when Robin Williams killed himself, right?
yeah,
Whole world was broken up. Why didn't we help? Why didn't this? Why didn't anybody? You know what I mean?
right.
Every time that there's like a suicide or something crazy, everyone's like, man, but sometimes you see like somebody unraveling in front of you, like Kanye.
Right.
It's like, man, maybe, dude, don't you have any real friends? Like, you know, maybe somebody steps in and says, I think you need some help, man. Like, I
Right.
think you're fucking insane.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I watched this video, a YouTube video, and this guy was talking about Kanye, and he's actually older than you, and
Mhm.
I have to call you old every episode. I got to find a way to
Every single
I
one.
got to find a way to slide it in there, but and he was talking about how like as a person he doesn't like Kanye. He said he's like I'm a Democrat, so when he did all the Trump stuff, I wasn't with it.
Yeah.
He was like, him hating on Taylor Swift and George Bush doesn't like black people. He's like, I've never been with Kanye as a person. He's like, but
Yeah.
I've always been a diehard Kanye music fan. And I think he's definitely an example. You got to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah. I've always said that. Sometimes you gotta,
Yeah, and that's but in this with this new album, he's back to rapping, but is still a lot of gospel, and which was fine. This album was dedicated to his mom, and she was a big Christian. Kanye's a Christian, so I figured, okay, it's gonna be, influence and stuff. But the weird thing is it's a clean album, which okay, that's fine, but he has everyone cuss. So everyone's on there cussing and it's just bleeped out.
Yeah.
So again, you have another bloated album. I think this album's like 35 songs long.
Yeah.
All the songs are bleeped out, like clean versions on the radio. Half of them are gospel songs. half of them are skits. It's just people loved it, but I'm a Kanye fan, I'm a Drake fan, but last year they both let me down. So not a year for Kanye and Drake fans, to be honest. It
Mm.
wasn't, it's not like we were listening to Graduation, and if you're reading this, it's too late. Yeah,
Eminem had that
or Dark Fantasy, or
fucking Eminem had that one like 3 or 4 CDs ago.
Revival.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. God, that thing was just a shit sandwich. I mean, it
Yeah,
was just fucking terrible from beginning to end. There wasn't a fucking single song on that whole CD that was worth a shit, man. It was really bad.
yeah,
But he's had so many classics before and since he's been killing it. Like
right,
Jay-Z had a couple that weren't they weren't dog shit trash, but he had a couple that were just meh.
right.
Nas had a couple that were meh. I mean, all the best do. I like a lot of Kanye's music. As a person, though, like I don't even want to hate on him because I feel bad. Like I feel like this is somebody we're gonna see. I hope not, but like man, like I see warning signs when I look at Kanye. I'm like, man, you should probably see like a doctor
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
daily for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. But and
Yeah.
again, last thing I'll say before we hop off this is, you know, you, as a person, he has his things. But musically, it's like, um, you got to respect him. I think his trilogy at the beginning, his Bear trilogy between College
Yeah.
Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation, is one of the best hip hop trilogies
And I was a
ever.
Common Sense fan, common now, but I
Yeah.
was a Common Sense fan in the 90s. Like I've known about Kanye as a producer for years and years and years.
Well, yeah, the Black Album, my favorite Jay-Z album, is produced by Kanye.
Mm.
It's so there's Alicia Keys, a lot of her stuff's produced by Kanye. Pusha T. There's so many
Yeah.
artists that you might not like Kanye, but if you like these 30 artists, they are all produced
Yeah. Yeah.
by Kanye. So yeah, that's some of the big albums this year. I didn't include a lot. There's a
Hold on. I got to put a little splash of haterade on this. We cannot let this go.
yeah.
Except for Kanye's clothes. Like I know we got to separate the artist from the art, but that dude has the worst clothing that anybody has ever designed ever in the history of ever. Like
Everyone's gonna think you're a Kanye hater. They're gonna drop it down in the comments
just
tab.
look at any of his clothes, anything. Find any shirt or pant or anything. Find anything Kanye's ever made, and be like, I defy you to find something that you don't either think is a joke or like something. Yeah, it's rough. But anyway, all right, let's move on.
All right, this one. So we got two more categories. We got video games. Some of these we might not know a lot about, but we're going to talk about them. And then we're going to sports, which I'm sure you'll know more about than me. So you'll probably do most of the talking on that one. All right. So next, some of the biggest games that came out this year. First, we got to start off with the game that won Game of the Year. I didn't think it was going to. Metroid Dread.
Looks great. I'll let you take over on this because I don't have a Switch and I haven't played it. Excuse me. I played it for a few minutes when Nick brought it over.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like you grew up with the Metroids and Castlevanias, which they call the Metrovania or whatever they call that, like style.
Yeah.
And there's been so many games since then. And it's like that try to copy that style. And you kind of forget like the people who started it all. And, this was a decade in the making. This is the fifth game because the fourth one was Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advanced.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, we're finally getting the fifth and final game in the Metroid series. Because you had Metroid 2, Super Metroid, Fusion, and Dread. And it was great. I haven't beat it yet because it's really hard. But as all Metroid games are, but it's amazing. It's awesome. The graphics are great. It's smooth. They brought tons of new controls. I
love the fact that we have a new really good game that's a side scroller.
Yeah.
I love playing side scrollers, and I'm normally playing like when I want to play them, I'm normally playing like old Genesis games and stuff.
Right.
So like the fact that they have a new side scroller is awesome.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like it's a hard sell to younger kids because if you grew up playing Skyrim and GTA 5, You're like, I
Yeah.
gotta go side scroll and like what? They're not, unless it's Mario, of course.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. Yeah, that for me, definitely game of the year. And I gotta beat it, and then I gotta let you borrow it and play this because
Yeah.
it's great. All right. Next one, Resident Evil 9 or 8.
Uh,
8. I have not played it yet. Have you?
I didn't even know they made another one.
Yeah, so 7 was really good. 7 was terrifying. It was probably the
Yeah.
scariest one they've made. And I beat that game. It was great. But I had not played 8. I put it on here because it was a huge release. I wondered if you played it because I think it came out exclusively for PS4 at first.
I didn't know. I didn't know they made a new one.
Yeah, so I mean I've seen the memes with the girl with the tits hanging out that everyone's all about with the Resident Evil thing, but
No, I'm sure it's good, but yeah, this is news to me.
yeah. What's your favorite Resident Evil game?
Oh man. Um, the first three, just because like when they came out, there was a game called like Alone in the Dark, and there was another one that was kind of like um there was a few horror games, but none of them like nailed it like Resident Evil.
Right.
I mean, going back now, playing with those controls and everything and waiting 10 minutes for every door to open is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was, it was great.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me, I probably have to go with you. I know everyone loves 4, but the first Resident Evil, well, the remake for GameCube,
Yeah.
what was amazing. So I'll
Yeah,
have to go
they've
with that.
remade that game so many times.
Next, a game we neither one of us have played. Our last episode, if you haven't seen it, again, I'll link it below. We talked about how much we both love Halo.
Yeah.
And I've heard nothing but great things about this game.
And this is the first Halo game that has ever come out that I haven't played within like a couple of weeks
Yeah.
at the most of it coming out.
Well, and the thing that was weird with this is they released the online for it first. So like you could buy the game, but it only had online. And then like a month later, they finally released the story mode. And I was like, man, I wonder, because like it got delayed. I was like, oh, they're gonna ruin the story mode. And then everyone's like, the story mode's amazing. And I'm like, I gotta play this game. So everyone's saying the co-op's awesome. It's bringing back the old couch co-ops of Halo. Everyone's hanging out, playing online and stuff
I
together.
love the fact that in the background it shows that he's on one of the rings, so that tells me that we might get to see the flood again.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, oh man, games were so good.
So
yeah, I'm gonna have to.
We haven't played it, but threw it on here. If you guys have played it, drop it down below. Let us know what we're missing out on. All right, and last big game that came out, it was nominated for Game of the Year, was Ratchet and Clank for the PS5, a console that we don't even have.
Nope.
But I've never really played any of the Ratchet and Clank games. Have you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few of them. They're good. They're funny. They're goofy. The storyline to them always goofy, and it's not really a shooter. I mean, it's definitely a platformer, but
right,
it's a platformer that you can shoot with. And yeah, they're always good. They're always super fun. I don't think there's been a bad one.
Yeah, I think this one everyone's freaking out about the graphics. They were like, the graphics are amazing. So again, another game. If you have Xbox, it's kind of cool. I included, Nintendo, we had Microsoft, and then you got Sony on here. So again, if you guys have played this game, let us know if we're missing out. What's better, Ratchet and Clank or Halo? All right, so the next one, we got the biggest.
Hold on a second. Hold on, let me stop you real quick. You said that you have a PlayStation. You have a PlayStation Plus, right?
Yeah, I do, and it just charged me for it today.
Okay,
just came out of my bank account.
Did you get did you download last month's games?
I did not.
Oh, so you didn't get Mortal Shell?
I did not yet. I've been I've been playing, not only have I been playing SpiderMan, I've been playing this
because you can add them to your library
game
without downloading them. But just go ahead and every month when they come out with the free games, just go ahead and add them to your library. That way, if you ever do want to download them, they're free.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that because my I have a PS4, but it's not the big storage one. It's just the regular standard PS4 that came out. So like I only have 2 games, and I'm like a quarter of my storage is full.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to
go ahead and go grab like a like a USB hard drive.
Yeah.
I have one on top of mine. It's like a few terabytes or whatever.
All right. So next
And we're back.
we got
Little Hollywood magic secret here. I had to pee. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
all right. So next we are on to the biggest sporting events of 2021. And had to start with the Connor fight. He broke his leg, didn't he?
Connor and Poirier fought twice last year. The first fight was Connor just got slept. He got knocked out.
Yeah.
And then the second fight, Connor was on his way to getting knocked the fuck out, and he broke his leg.
The reason why I had to include this one, I know it wasn't the best fight. It's just the memes. This Connor with his leg broke has been one of the biggest memes of 2021.
Yeah, and also before that, the one of him knocked out, and all the ones of Joe Rogan interviewing everybody.
Yeah, that's laying on the ground. Joe Rogan got memed hard.
Those are so funny. They roasted Joe for like 3 months.
Well, and he did. I was listening to his podcast. He was like, "What was I supposed to do? Not interview him?"
Yeah, yeah, man. He's laying there with broken bones.
So what do you think about the fight?
Yeah, maybe now isn't the best time. Like, he's Conor McGregor. Let him get a cast and some painkillers or something. He'll do an interview.
So I mean, I don't know. Do you think this is it for Connor?
Man, he'll fight probably too. It should have been it a while back. Like, it's hard. He got $300 and some million from the Proper 12 deal, I think, and I think he got about 100 million from the Floyd fight, all in all total. And then I think he was already the highest paid fighter in the UFC, and I mean, which isn't a lot, but I think they were paying him like 10 or 15 million a fight, maybe even 20 million, him and Khabib.
That's crazy.
I mean, I can't imagine like I've been training martial arts my whole life, but not, you know what I mean? Not like competing. I'm not a professional fighter. I have buddies who are. That's a dedication. That's 7 days a week. You have to be doing shit,
Right.
Man, it's hard to find that kind of motivation when you're, Scrooge McDuck swimming in gold coins and shit. Like,
yeah. And
how are you like, meanwhile, the next guy up is just, dead broke, bad home, been training his ass off, been fighting. You're not going to beat those dudes. You're not angry. You're not hungry. You don't, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, it was one of those things where it was, Connor starting to become the Ronda Rousey story, where you shoot to fame really fast and your celebrity status, even outside the UFC, and just no one ever thinks you're going to lose. Like, no, people would have bet millions that Ronda Rousey would never lose. And then, so, hey, maybe we'll see Connor in the WWE, catch him on SmackDown or Raw.
He doesn't need to do that.
No, he makes fun of wrestlers.
I think he's just going to like cruise around the world in his yacht.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes to fight, and he's still, and let's be honest, it's not like he got his ass kicked by, Joey Shitface at the bar. He's, Dustin Poirier. Guy was like the #1 contender in the world.
That's true. Yeah.
Dustin just lost to the title.
Next, I'll let you take it over, Dad.
Oh yeah, Juliana Pena, man. Now you gonna talk about upsets. Nobody thought. I didn't think that my jaw was on the floor. I was jumping up and down. We were all yelling. Nobody thought she was just gonna walk out and just beat the shit out of Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I heard Talon made a little bit of money on this. Congrats.
Well, yeah, all you had to do was bet like 50 cents to win $50. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like,
she was like
super underdog.
Ridiculous. She might have been. I'm not positive, but it might be the biggest underdog victory, like odds wise, of all time for the UFC.
Yeah, that's crazy. And did this go to decision?
No, she tapped her out. She choked her out. She beat her ass on the feet and then got on top of her like seconds after this picture and just strangled her.
Yeah, that's crazy. Again, like we were saying with Connor, I mean, Amanda Nunes is one of those fighters that like you just don't bet on her losing. Like it's, and I know she has lost before. She's not like undefeated or anything, but like she's had a streak for so long now, and
Yeah.
everyone says she's easily the best female fighter of all time. And
I,
you
I
know,
you can ask Talon and Shane. I've been arguing this forever, that you can make an argument that Shevchenko beat Amanda. And then in the first fight was the 3 rounds. Amanda won the first and second round, but by the third round, Shevchenko was beating the shit out of Amanda. And Shevchenko is always going to be way smaller than Amanda.
right?
They're several weight classes apart. Amanda has to cut a lot of weight to get down there. Shevchenko doesn't. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
when you have like 2 of the best of all time, and one's way bigger, the bigger one's going to win.
right.
And yeah, but she's up there. I think she's, as far as female fighters go, I think Valentina Shevchenko. I'll go out and say this. I think pound for pound, man or woman, I think Valentina's the best there is. I think skill for skill, I think she's the best fighter on the planet.
Right now,
Yeah, right now, this second, I think Valentina Shevchenko is the best fighter on the planet, just skill wise.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But Amanda was, yeah, that was a big shock.
yeah. Another upset. All right, next I had to bring this in, the Paul brothers. I didn't put a picture of Jake in here, but we can talk a little bit about Jake. First of all, I mean, easily one of the biggest. I mean, obviously not a serious fight. I don't even think it's considered a real fight. It was like a bout.
No, it was a exhibition.
Exhibition, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, bout's the legit thing. But again, it's one of those things where they said, "Oh, Logan Paul, you never try to fight Mayweather," and he did it. He fought Mayweather. I mean, he lost every round, but
Yep.
to a guy that's half his size,
And 50 or however old Floyd is. I know he's a good bit older than me, at least 5 years older than me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I tuned in, I watched it.
All right, so I have seen so many fights. And then in MMA, boxing, sometimes you see some wacky shit, crazy judges scoring. You just, every once in a while a fight happens where it doesn't look like, you're almost like, man, did he throw that fight? Like, was he paid?
Right.
With this fight, it was an exhibition, but there were some spots in here where Floyd was clearly like helping him along. You know what I mean?
He
a few times, like
he said at that when as soon as the fight ended, when they interview, if you go back and watch it, they interview Logan Paul, and he looks over at Mayweather and he says, "You went easy on me," and Mayweather laughs and he's like, "It's it's just exhibition."
Yeah,
he was like, we're in here for the money. We both know what we were in here for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Mayweather wanted an easy paycheck. Logan Paul wanted as much money as he could possibly get.
And besides that, Logan Paul he's never won a fight. I think that was his 3rd or 4th fight. So he's never even won. He's and whatever. But his brother, on the other hand, Jake Paul, is undefeated.
No, Jake can box.
And at this point, we need to put a little bit of respect on Jake Paul's name.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, has he ever actually fought an actual boxer? No, he's fighting like everyone that's not a boxer.
No, but he beat the shit out of Tyron Woodley.
Slept him.
And I know Tyron's on a big losing skid, but I mean, you're talking about the guy who took the title from Robbie Lawler. You're talking about the guy who beat prime Wonder Boy Thompson. And if I'm not mistaken, the only person to ever beat Wonder Boy when he was like in his prime.
Yeah. And Jake slept him.
And Jake was like, nah, bitch. But, Tyron's father time catches up,
Yeah.
I don't think.
And that's like we said about Kanye separating the art from the artist. The funny thing about Jake Paul and Logan Paul is I think Jake Paul is actually a decent I mean, Logan Paul's actually a decent human being. I watch his podcast, Impulsive, on YouTube, and he seems like a good dude. But as a fighter, it's just I think that's not his thing. Maybe stick to the podcast and the YouTube stuff. And then Jake Paul, on the other hand, seems like he would be an actual douche in real life to be around, but he can fight. I mean, you know, I had to stop drinking the haterade.
I
As far as boxing, I mean, he would never make it in MMA, but
no, and also like there's you can't put him in there with like he hasn't fought anybody like his own size, his own,
it's an actual boxer or anything like
I
that.
mean, but that's the way it works in boxing. In boxing, and there's good and bad to that. Like I go back and forth on whether I think it's good how boxing does it or it's better how MMA does it. But in MMA, you're not going to see those crazy undefeated records. You're just never going to see it.
Right.
You'll never see somebody go like 50-0 in MMA. There's just in boxing you can lose by getting knocked out with a punch or by points.
Right.
That's it. There's 100 ways to lose in MMA. I can't think of every jiu-jitsu submission.
All right.
But I know, shin, heel, knee, elbow, fist. I mean, it's just too much. And Jake was I think he's gonna fight Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
But I think Tommy's opponents, like if you look at their records, I think one guy was like 2-35 and the other one was like 0-40, like ridiculous, just built up records. So, I mean, like name another boxer, any famous boxer, you've never seen their first 4 fights.
No.
No, because all they do is they'll find a guy who's 0-15 who just wants a paycheck. And
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, people hate like, oh, Jake's not fighting this guy and he's not fighting that guy, but doing better if you compare him to other boxers who are 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, so we'll see where he goes on that. So yeah, that was some of the big fights. Again, not all of them. Next, I wanted to put our football teams in here. I got yours, mine, and yours.
Okay.
So I'm a Browns fan. My dad's a Bills fan. The Browns this year, it's been bad. It's been really rough. And as there's a famous saying in Cleveland, and it says, "There's always next year." They even have it's the brown shirt, and then it's in the orange logo, and it says, "There's always next year," a Clevelander. Oh. And I mean, it's the saying. Last year we did really good. We made it to the playoffs, and we won in the playoffs. We beat the Steelers, and I mean, like it was good. Like it was the best that we'd done since I was a child. I think since like 2005. So, and of course this year, but it was bad. I mean, Baker, our quarterback, got hurt. We lost players. Odell Beckham Jr. left and went and joined the Eagles. So it's just been bad. It's been loss after loss after loss this year.
Baker's been killing those commercials though.
Yeah. If he'd spend more time on the field and less time shooting, we might win a game. But
I feel it.
Yeah, that's it for us this season. We're like last in our division. So we're not going to playoffs. We're done. So again, there's always next year. So that's it for the Browns. Next we got the Bills.
Oh man, we started off this season so good. So good. Like if you were talking about like week 6, everybody was saying, oh, Buffalo Bills, best team in the NFL, best offense, best defense, best this, best that. Like if you break down all these categories, Bills are top 3 in every category.
Yeah.
Then something happened, man. We just, that debacle with Jacksonville, where it was who could score the most field goals and just horrible play calling, and that wind game where they was like, it was rough. But we're back on track now. We've been whooping ass and taking names again, but we started off real strong. We hit a slump, and then we're right back to it. I mean, we got the AFC East, so
going to playoffs.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do. I think we'll make it to the AFC Championship again this year. Hope we win it.
Yeah, we'll be practicing for next year.
Man, we gotta deal with the Chiefs, and man, for some reason, every time we play Tennessee, it's like a curse. But yeah,
And that's
Probably
Julie's
end up
favorite team.
actually.
If you're watching this, Julie, that's her favorite team.
Oh, is it?
Yep, she's Tennessee. It's funny that we're like we all like all of us are in our mid Ohio Valley. No one has the same favorite team. You got
No.
hey with the Saints, me with the
Yeah.
Browns, you with the Bills, Jackson with the Cardinals, my boss with the Steelers. You got Julie with the Titans. It's like Papal with the Panthers. Like no one's on the same team
Yeah.
around here. So
Yeah, and they always try to push the Bengals. Although I will say this, we might end up
no one
seeing
likes
the Bengals. The Bengals are really good this year.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They kicked ass. We're going to see them here in the postseason.
My thing too, I want to say this while we're on here. If you guys are watching this, then you went to school with me or you're from mid Ohio Valley area. Joe Burrow went to Athens, their quarterback, and everyone my age for some reason right now acts like they were best friends with this guy. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I used to party with Joe, in high school all the time. Me and him were up at OU Halloween getting drunk together. I'm like, dude, you did not hang out with Joe Burrow. He's like, we used to play video games in my dorm room. You did not hang out with Joe Burrow. Stop. But of course, now because he's famous and millionaire quarterback now, everyone was best friends with Joe Burrow. I'm like, you guys didn't talk to him.
All right, so I want to go ahead and start some shit before we get off this slide. Let me go ahead and say this to all the football fans out there. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL, save Tom Brady, except for Tom Brady. I'm not even debating. I saw those videos of Tom Brady doing like trick pat. Like, I'm like, all right, man, we get it. You're the fucking best. I get it, dude. I have to admit it. Other than that, the rest of y'all can eat shit. Josh Allen's the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, Kansas City fans are going to be mad.
Yeah.
Oh, Dallas fans are going to be mad. Well, nothing I can do for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dak's all right with the who's the quarterback though who plays for the Packers? He's pretty old. He's been in the game for a long time.
Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers. He's
Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
he's
you got to put some respect on Aaron Rodgers' name.
Yeah, he's killing it.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, if he's any better, he'd look like Josh Allen out there.
Big Ben left the Steelers, my least favorite team, but he's been their quarterback since I was a child. So he's out of there. All the old guys are gone. But yeah, so that's some of the biggest things that happened this year as far as video games, music, movies, shows. Well, I didn't really do shows, but before we hop off here, Dad, anything you're excited for 2022?
Oh yeah.
Any of those categories?
Yeah, the end of January, the Francis Ngannou Cyril Gane fight.
That's going to be good.
Pay-per-view. And then the UFC Fight Night in Columbus this March that I'm going to, getting tickets.
Yeah.
The minute they go on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as music,
Joey Badass is dropping an album this year. Finally, he's returning.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yep. And someone really big, let's keep our fingers crossed, is supposed to drop his album this year, and that's Dr. Dre.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Everyone's been talking about it, that he's starting all this promo, he's doing these concerts, he's doing the Super Bowl, and Dre doesn't do that unless he has an album coming.
Did you see Dre's did you see his post where he got all the giant balloons and it filled the whole room? And it spelled there were like letter balloons, but like really big, and it was like divorced as fuck. His divorce filing went through. Do you know what he paid?
I don't know. I'm betting it's a lot.
This woman who didn't produce a single song, who didn't help a single rapper, who didn't sell a single pair of headphones, who did nothing with the app, like literally 0% of the income was because of her. Literally 0. Dre had to pay her $100 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, he needs to drop an album, get some paychecks in. Drop Detox.
I
we need
think
it.
That $1 billion that Apple paid him for Beats, which is Apple Music now, but it used to be Beats. I think that billion that Apple paid him might help out a little.
Yeah, which is weird too, because like Apple has AirPods, but if you go to Apple's website, they also sell Beats. Like you can still buy,
Yeah.
they still make new Beats, they still come out. You can still buy Beats headphones, but it's just
Mhm.
owned by Apple. But
Yeah, I think it
yes,
was the streaming service that they really wanted.
yeah, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
The we got
Kendrick Lamar.
it's supposed to drop this year.
So
Joey
is
Badass, Dr. Dre.
one that slipped in under the radar. It was kind of a compilation album, and for some reason it was for Def Jam. But Snoop released
Oh
that
yeah,
album just a few weeks ago. It's really good.
yeah.
It's not like a classic album, but there's 5, 6 really good songs on it.
It's you see it a lot promoted up here in Columbus. We got the radio and stuff, so it's all around up here. As far as like movies, I know we're getting the second, the cartoon Spider-Man they did with Miles Morales.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Oscar has seen it 100 times, which
yeah,
means I've seen it 100 times.
it's a great movie. The second one comes out this year, comes out I think next month.
Yeah, I'll probably take Oscar to the theaters to see that.
Yep, so that's coming out. I think the second Mortal Kombat movie is supposed to come out this year. Oh, the biggest movie that's coming out this year comes out the end of the year is the second Avatar movie.
Ooh,
Finally.
that'll be good.
It's only been, 10 years since the first one came out.
Still looks good.
Yeah. So James Cameron returning to do another one. So yeah, so that's it. That's it, guys. So Dad, you got anything else to add to that?
No, just Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for checking us out again. Sorry for the long wait. There's a bunch of different things. I think we're gonna do one more like this, and then we're gonna
We'll do one more like
do
this.
the
And then,
ones like that we've been talking about.
yeah, then we got a special one coming up for you guys. And then after that, I think we'll go ahead and have our first guest.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, please like, share, and subscribe as usual. I'll link all of our other videos up on the screen somewhere around here. And we'll see you on the next one.